One woman works at a restaurant, another at a private company, a third at a government office, and the fourth is part of a political party. If any of them faces sexual harassment, can they seek justice? Can they demand redressal, like a remedy or compensation? The answer is only 3 of them can, because POSH does not apply to political parties. POSH is India's law to prevent sexual harassment at the workplace, and recently India's Supreme Court heard a plea about it, about bringing registered political parties under POSH. The Supreme Court rejected the plea, meaning women in politics have no legal protection under this law. They cannot seek redressal against sexual harassment under POSH. To understand why, we'll start with the basics. POSH stands for Prevention of Sexual Harassment. The law, called the POSH Act, was passed in 2013. This law addresses sexual harassment at any workplace, whether private or public. It lists out certain duties for employers, all employers, like setting up an ICC. ICC is the Internal Complaints Committee. It is meant to address complaints about sexual harassment. If your company has 10 or more employees, you have to set up an ICC. That is the law. The idea is to ensure a safe work environment. But this law does not apply to political parties. Now in India, tens of thousands of women are members of political parties. They're lawmakers, they're policy researchers, they're booth workers, admin staff. Women are everywhere. India has 6 national political parties, but only one of them has an ICC, and that is the CPM, the Communist Party of India Marxist. It has an Internal Complaints Committee, or ICC. The other parties have no such body. And these parties give us our leaders, our policy makers. But their female members are left vulnerable to harassment. According to a United Nations survey, about 50% women in Indian politics have faced verbal abuse. 45% have faced physical abuse, especially during election campaigns. 58%, according to this survey, say that perpetrators were party colleagues. Needless to say, this is a big problem. So why don't most political parties have an ICC? Because they have special privileges. They're not considered workplaces, at least not in India. Politics is not supposed to be a job, it is supposed to be a service or a calling. So by law, political parties do not have to set up ICCs, because political parties are not employers and party workers are not employees. That's what the law says. This means political workers have no protections, not under the labor law and not under the sexual harassment law. And that's not all. India's top court says if political parties come under POSH, it will open a Pandora's box. Because sexual harassment complaints will be used to blackmail politicians. That's what the Supreme Court has said. And this raises several issues. First of all, yes, with any law as complex as POSH, there is scope for misuse. But does that mean we have no law? Does that mean that political workers are left without protection? Secondly, yes, political parties are not considered employers, but they have more than 10 workers. There is a clear chain of command. Parties have offices, they have hierarchies, they have work hours, they have duties. So why don't they have more guardrails? Thirdly, if political parties cannot be called a workplace, if they cannot come under POSH, then maybe we need some other system to secure them. Like in the European Union, where they have a special resolution on violence against women in politics, or Kenya, which has set up a disputes tribunal, or the UK, which has an Equality Act that includes political parties. Why not India? We need solutions tailor-made for our country. Over the years, experts have made a range of suggestions, like a party-wide policy or a better defined code of conduct, which can include setting up a specific disciplinary body, because this is the crux of the matter. Women should be safe in all spaces, and politicians talk about women's safety in their rallies, so why do they forget safety in their parties and in politics itself? For policymakers, the safety of women should be more than just a slogan, both outside the party offices and within their walls.